Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about the ADR Report of 2024 on the Lok Sabha Elections in India. This video is essentially a continuation or a part 2 of a video I made a few days ago titled v-dem Report 2024 Analysis. Now, v-dem Report is a publication by the University of Gothenburg in Sweden, which analyzes the state of democracies across the world and compares the quality and preservation of democracy and their institutions. And in this report, it stated that India is the world's largest electoral autocracy, which means it's no longer a liberal democracy, it's an electoral autocracy. And the response to the video was quite negative. In fact, I received many comments criticizing the video itself, the source of the video, the publication, etc. For example, some of them were calling this a Western publication to tarnish India's image. They're asking how the data in particular to India was collected, and they're saying it's sponsored by Soros and Ford. They're saying it's a propaganda video to discredit Modi's win. Some other comments were just insulting. And so if we break down the comments, the main arguments were that the report is not authentic, as it's published by the West. It's a Western attempt to tarnish India. And America has 2 political parties and India has 2,500 parties. Therefore, India is the only true democracy in the world. Today, we're going to be looking at Association for Democratic Reforms, an organization, and their report on the Lok Sabha Elections in India. Before we start complaining, this is a completely Indian organization. It was established in 1999 by a group of professors from the Indian Institute of Management, IIM Ahmedabad. And the mission or their goal is to improve governance and strengthen democracy by continuous work in the area of electoral and political reforms. And as you can see here, all the founding members are professors from different IIMs across India. So it's a completely Indian report. So this time you can't use the excuse or argument that it's a Western publication trying to tarnish India's image. This is a purely Indian report, made in India. The parameters of the report are to analyze the criminal background of nearly 8,300 candidates, the number of Crorepati candidates, which means the number of candidates that have more than 1 crore or 10 million rupees in assets, the education qualification of the candidates, and the wealth and assets of the candidates. And the ultimate objective is to analyze the quality or the type of candidates that are contesting in the elections, and whether we should really be voting for them or whether they're truly representing a better democracy in India. So why are these parameters important? Because democracy is about providing a choice to the voters to ensure they select a candidate that can truly represent them, address their concerns, and ultimately bring liberty, equality, and justice. The first parameter we have is criminal cases. So as you can see in the table on top, we have the election years 2009, 14, 19, and 24, the total number of candidates analyzed, the number of candidates with declared criminal cases, percentage of candidates, number of candidates with serious criminal cases, and percentage with serious criminal cases. So as you can see, the percentage of declared with criminal cases has been increasing since 2009 by nearly 5%, which is around 500 candidates. And the serious cases has increased by 6%, which is nearly 500 candidates. And serious criminal cases usually include rape, murder, dacoity, theft, robbery, something serious that the IPC considers extremely serious. So if you look on the table on the bottom, these are the top 5 candidates with the maximum criminal cases. So a BJP candidate from Kerala, K. Surendranan, has 243 cases, out of which over half of them are serious IPC cases. And the top 3 in this list are all from BJP, and the 4th and 5th are from Congress Party, Indian National Congress. Now, if you look at the party-wise percentage of candidates with declared criminal cases, the CPIM has the highest percentage in terms of national parties in India of criminal cases, candidates with criminal cases. Now, some of you might be saying BJP only has 43%, whereas CPIM has 63%. Well, that's because if you look at the bottom here in the circled area, the total number of candidates analyzed for CPIM is only 52. And since 33 of these 52 have criminal cases, that's why the percentage is higher. That's why the absolute figure and the percentage are both equally important. Perhaps the Election Commission should take a thing or two from this lesson. The report also identified red constituencies, red alert constituencies, which means constituencies which have 3 or more candidates with declared criminal cases. And as you can see here, 288 or 53% of the total constituencies in Lok Sabha elections have 3 or more candidates with declared criminal cases. So think about what kind of choice you're offering to these voters. This is why the voter turnout percentage is declining day by day, election by election, because they're having to choose between criminals. Now, next parameter is the number of Crorepatis, which means that, as I mentioned earlier, the number of their assets exceed 1 crore, 10 million rupees. And the percentage-wise, it's increased from 29% in the previous election to 31% in this year's election. And as you can see here, last year the number of Crorepati candidates was around 2,297 out of 7,928, and this year it's 2,572 out of 8,337, which is around 31%. And coming to the party-wise list, the BJP has the highest number of Crorepati candidates, 92%, which means out of the 440 candidates that were analyzed, 403 of them have more than 1 crore rupees. This indicates the dictation or the control of money and muscle power over the election and the electoral process. How money and muscle power is controlling democracy and denying people who are passionate about social service and politics from opportunities to contest in elections. Coming to the wealth and assets, the top 3 richest candidates contesting, the first one is Dr. Pemasani from Andhra Pradesh, party name is TDP, has 5,705 crores in assets. The second candidate is from Telangana, Konda Reddy, BJP party, 4,568 crores. And the third is Pallavi Dempo from Goa, also BJP, 1,361 crores. And the average assets of each candidate, which means the total expenditure or assets of the candidates divided by the number of candidates, is 6.23 crores. So upon seeing this data, the average person that has passion to contesting elections is immediately thrown off, because they know that an average middle class person who truly has compassion towards serving the public, there's no way he or she can contest an election, because the average assets and average expenditure will be 6 crores. Coming to educational qualifications, 42% of the candidates have declared educational qualifications to be between 5th and 12th grade, while 51% have declared educational qualification of graduate or above. 14 have not given their educational qualification, and 121 are illiterate. However, this doesn't make much of a difference, because the Constitution, Article 84 of the Constitution, prescribes the qualification to contest as an MP as only being a citizen of India and being over 25 years in age. Reason is because of the checks and balances system. The elected legislature is assisted and guided by the permanent executive, otherwise known as the permanent bureaucracy. So the Prime Minister, the Finance Minister, they're continuously guided by bureaucrats, IAS officers, IPS officers, IRS officers. The Finance Commission, they're all guided and supported by the permanent bureaucracy, otherwise known as the public services, civil services. So that's why educational qualification is not a necessary or prerequisite to contest an election. You simply need leadership, passion to serve, and an ability to be determined, resolute. So finally, the report concluded with a few recommendations by the ADR Association. One is that the Supreme Court must reprimand the candidates and political parties. They should permanently disqualify people convicted for heinous crimes like rape, murder, theft, robbery, dacoity. Also, they should bring political parties under the Right to Information Act. The electoral bonds case by the Supreme Court was a partial attempt to increase the transparency of political parties. But there's still several acts underground which political parties are committing to hide their accounts, finances, and the truth about their candidates. As they say, the walls of the political parties are opaque, they're not clear, they're not transparent. There's always something happening in the background which the public needs to be aware of. Fourth, every polling booth should have a display board containing the criminal records and wealth disclosures of all the candidates. This could incentivize or provide information to the public on who they're voting for. And lastly, the Election Commission should conduct awareness campaigns to prohibit or discourage the voters from taking freebies or bribes or money towards the election time. The conclusion of this report and this analysis in this video is that the fundamental tenets of democracy, which are free and fair elections, equality in opportunities, and maintaining a level playing field among candidates, are being compromised in the past 10 years. The growing nexus between money and muscle power and electoral success represents a decline in democratic values which our country once cherished. Just because there's a chance that you might lose the election doesn't mean you have to change the results. It doesn't mean you have to spend crores on swaying the public opinion. In 1977, in the public general elections, Indira Gandhi conducted elections free and fair, despite knowing that there's a high probability of her loss in the background of the emergency. She lost the election but won again in 1980 because of her strong policies and programs for reform. This shows that true leadership lies in transparency and freedom. There should be equality and opportunities for all candidates, because that's what political representative democracy is all about. You have to pick the best leader for your constituency, the best leader for your country. This comment, I'm genuinely saddened. I'm not angered by this comment. I'm depressed and concerned about the level of education in terms of political awareness of the public in India. They're saying that just because America has 2 parties and India has 2,500 parties makes India the better democracy. But the truth is, having 2,500 parties and 8,000 candidates doesn't make a difference if the candidates are criminals and the parties are wealth tanks containing thousands of crores each. Where is the equality of opportunity? And this comment also, China is a democracy. First of all, it's not. It's an autocracy. China is never even on the publication. And so, for all of those people that commented that the v-dem report was fake, fabricated publication about tarnishing India's reputation, this is a straight answer. A slap in the face. That even Indian reports feel the same way about the decline in democracy in India. I conclude by saying, it's not the time to argue, it's not the time to question the data. How many times are they going to blame Soros and Ford? How many times are they going to say that the West is trying to tarnish India? When will this end? When will you face the reality? When will you face the music? That India is in trouble. All I can say is, save democracy, save India. Thank you.